This call is from a federal prison.
What's good though, my nigga? Like, how you spent your motherfucking New Year's? I mean, you reading
I
or
went
some
to
shit?
sleep. I went to sleep at 10:30. I woke up at 7 in the morning.
That shit crazy. Like, you motherfucking been in there for a year now. You know I'm recording this shit.
Yeah, January 17th year, they locked me up on Martin Luther King birthday.
Was
I'd
it?
really be a revolutionary.
I swear it was like the 5th, nigga. It was like the
I
5th.
got locked up on January 17th.
Did you know? Did you know that they was fucking coming? Like, did you have any idea that they was coming?
No, I didn't. You never know when the feds is coming,
Mm.
I didn't know.
You know, motherfucking combat. You know when combat has passed on and shit.
This call is from a federal prison.
Yeah, the legend, combat jet, good brother, mentor, great father, great teacher, intellectual, you know what I mean? Taught me a lot, and he rode for me. I really appreciate people like him, you know what I mean? There ain't too many loyalists out there, you know what I mean?
Yeah. When I seen you, you know, we seen you, showed you the picture and shit like that. Nobody was really expecting him to pass. And the shit, you know, his partner Ed Woods passed too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I heard. That was crazy. Unbelievable.
I ain't go to the wake though. I ain't.
Cancer's a serial killer, you know what I mean? Like, cancer's just, it's like touching everybody. There's no real way to really prevent it, you know what I mean? It's just when you get it, you gotta fight it, and you just gotta know that you could go or you might stay, you know what I mean? You know, it really hurt me to see combat like that when I seen his Instagram and seen how much weight he lost, you know what I mean? But it's just like, I'm just happy that, you know what I mean, he still looked like he had joy in him, you know what I mean?
Yeah, facts. You know, yeah, the nigga took a pose. Like, this is me with cancer pose type shit. Yeah, when the nigga went out.
He always kept God human, you know what I mean?
Yeah, facts.
That's not supposed to be though. You gotta go out like a G, you know what I mean?
The nigga, I learned a lot from the nigga, but one of the most things and shit, the same shit that I learned from you is like, y'all studiers of the fucking game. Like, y'all are really students of the game so much that y'all able to educate other people. I motherfucking try to read. I fall asleep while I read. I asked you what you do in there. You said you read about 5 books a week. Like, how do you take in that much information, my nigga?
You got to. Because, you know, when you finish school, you quit school, whatever it might be, you can never stop informing yourself. Like, knowledge doesn't stop. Knowledge is truly the power, you know what I mean? But, you know, some people think they're smart because academically they might have passed, you know, their regents or, you know what I mean, the SATs or, you know, they got their diploma, they have their degree, so they think like I'm smart and the education stops there and the rest of the things they put in their head is nothing but entertainment, you know what I mean? So I always try to educate myself on different things. That's why I can always speak about different subjects, you know what I mean, and not be too much out the loop. It's kind of embarrassing when you're having a conversation with somebody and you don't know completely what they're talking about, especially if it's a subject that's actually valid to a wide group and a wide range of people. So I feel like you always got to have the information. There's a lot of guys in here that they don't have any information because they spend their time just working out all day. And when you work out your physical all day, you don't work out your mental, you become a vegetable, you know what I mean? So you can look strong physically, but mentally you have nothing there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's me. Like, I realized that I kind of trained my brain to read 140 characters. I don't know if you know, now Twitter got 280 characters, but
yeah, I heard you slower than turtle shit, man. You got to start reading.
Yo, how you find that kind of adjective? Yo,
you know they said if you want to hide something from a black man, put it in a book, and that's the only quote I need to ever hear. You know what I mean? I'm like, don't hide shit from me. So I read everything. You know what I mean? Everything. I don't care what come across. You know what I mean? I just read the Quran twice. I still read the Bible. You know what I mean? I've read the Bible probably over who knows 50 times maybe already. You know what I mean? I like good books. I like good history. You know what I mean? I love to stay in tune with history because history definitely repeats itself.
if you were to name 3 books that change your life, what would they be?
Mm-hmm.
Or change your perspective?
Oh man, damn. So there's so many. It can't really just be 3. It's like 20. You know what I mean? Like there's so many. A lot of them are Black history. You know what I mean? I'm really into Black history. You know what I mean? I love Asada Shakur. You know what I mean? I like Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. You know what I mean? It's so many, man. I can't even, for real, I don't even know my top. You know what I mean? The Road to Stardom, I think that's oh man, Huey P. Newton. You know what I mean? I'm really into the history of us, because it's like once you learn the history of us, you know what we need to do and what we need to learn and the direction that we need to go in order not to repeat that history. You understand? Like I was in there talking to some dudes the other day, and like when everybody, most of the guys, the Black guys especially, talk about wealth. They run the entertainers, and it's like entertainers are like at the bottom of the barrel of wealth. So I never understood why so many people in here, like, you know, like they talk about wealth and they just bring up the Migos or something, you know what I mean? And I'm like, damn, like, you know Bob Johnson's a billionaire, like, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, why we not talking about him? It's just so much, you know. I think especially with Blacks, we get blinded by entertainment, and we think that's the ceiling for success, you know what I mean? I got so many people in here, CEOs, that come up to me, oh, you had the world in your hands. And it was like, yo, you really felt like I had the world in my hands? If you felt like I had the world in my hands, it's because you probably don't even have a pinch of dust under your fingernails, because I never had the world in my hands. You understand?
Damn. How is it in there? Like with people that walk past you, say you text them, do they treat you a certain way? Do they sit and listen? Because you got a lot of information. Do they take in that information? Do they challenge you? Like, what is your interactions like in that motherfucker?
I try to talk to a lot of the young kids, because a lot of the young kids are really like embedded in gang culture, and I try to explain to them, you know what I mean, why the gang culture is like idiotic and it's just dumb, and it's just, you know, it's basically it's self-genocide, you know what I mean? Because they look up to guys that's maybe 50 years old, have been in jail for 25 years and never touched an iPhone screen before, you know what I mean? They look up to guys that when they come home, they live with their grandmother, so they gotta have sex real quiet, put a pillow over the girl's head because she can't moan too loud, you know what I mean? And I'm like, you can't look up to people like that. So I ask shit like this, like, what's your favorite movie? And guys will say shit like, yo, Menace to Society is my favorite movie. And I'll be like, yo, why? They be like, yo, I just love Old Dog, he was so gangster. And then I ask them, I'll be like, yo, what you about? You about being gangster or you about money? And they say shit like, you know, I'm about money. So I'll be like, why the fuck you like Old Dog for? Old Dog was broke. You know what I mean? Old Dog was a broke gangster. He was in the liquor store shooting Asians because they said something about his mother taking $60 from him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Why would Tupac and Juice be the person you looked up to? Because all he had to his name was some 40 below Timberlands and a 38. You know what I mean? So it's just certain things. I think if we stop idolizing certain things, that, you know, things could change within our culture. You know what I mean?
Son, that's so much. That says so much, man. This world is crazy. They said 2017 is the year of the woman. As a matter of fact, when I was speaking to you about educating myself, you said, yo, you got to learn woman, you got to learn gays, you got to learn white people. Tell me why you think those 3 things are these things that are like so prevalent or taking over in society, and why people need to educate themselves on it.
Man, I feel like, you know, I think it should be. I think it should be the century of women. You know what I mean? Women rule the world. I talk about women all the time in a constructive criticism way, and like, you know, a certain weak women think I'm bashing them, but it's like, no, I'm not bashing. I'm trying to give you an outlet of intellect from a man's perspective, so you can understand how we think, and for women to do better, and how much we hold them on a pedestal. You know, they the nucleus. Everything revolves around women. You know what I mean? And I feel like, especially in American culture, not just American culture, Middle Eastern culture, it's like we hold women at a subdivision. Like we hold them, like, you know, like, look at Hillary. Like, you know, Hillary could have never did. She could have, maybe, what if she would have never called us super predicates and did all the shit she did, and she was just the best candidate, she still probably wouldn't have been president, because they don't like women. You know what I mean? They allowed black men to vote before they allowed white women to vote. You know what I mean? So women still couldn't vote when black men could vote. You understand what I'm saying?
No, that's
so
right.
it's just certain shit that it's like, yo, the world is like almost against women, and I still don't understand why. Like, you know, as a guy that's in prison, you always have women that hold you down. You know what I mean? I always wonder why dudes in rap songs be like, fuck bitches, and I love my niggas. I don't know why so many dudes love their niggas so much, because I'd be like, yo, your nigga don't suck your dick, he don't wash your drawers, he don't visit you every day. You know what I mean? I was just in the box, and I seen the girls going on visits. It used to be about 5 girls going on visits. So I asked the CEO, I was like, yo, who's coming to see these women? Is it women or men? And they were like, oh, one man, and it's one of the girls' dads. You know what I mean? It's never really men. Like, men are not completely loyal. Women are loyal. Women are loyal to men. I don't think women are too loyal to women. And I think if women were more loyal to women, also things could possibly change, because women have such catty attitudes and want to be in a race for a man. You know what I mean? I think a lot of things that come from women are the race to, you know what I mean, to be wanted by a man or be accepted by a man. You know what I mean? Or just have man companionship.
Son. Fucking women, somebody said to me that men are women's biggest threat. And I was like, in all honesty, women to me are women's biggest threat, because if once they band together, they could take over everything. But they're really so catty and love pulling each other down. Like that's how I feel.
I feel like women rule the world, but they just don't allow themselves to take over it. They allow men to stay in that position of power, because a lot of women are submissive, and they don't mind us handling things, but they control the narrative. You know what I mean? Things shift when the woman says no, or when she says yes, or you know what I mean? Women do control the world, but it's just the men are so dominant. Like, for instance, like what's going on right now in the news with all the sexual harassment and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the thing is that these dudes get in power so they can manipulate women. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of this
call is from a federal prison.
for women. We try to look good for women. We want to get money, because we know women want men with money. You know what I mean? They need security. There's certain things, so they control things. It's just that they don't take the position to control things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolute fact. You're talking about taking power over. You know, yesterday was the Haitian Independence Day, and it's crazy.
Shout out to the Haitians. Stop by say, Popcorn George.
Yeah, I was reading up on this shit. Like, yo, that's the first time in history where the slaves took over the shit and took power on their own. Like, they literally, it was just a whole revolt. It took a long time for this shit to happen, but that's the first time in history that shit happened. Tell me your thoughts about that shit.
I think that was powerful. You know, they faded the French, you know what I mean? And it's definitely, we got to always respect the Haitians for that, you know what I mean? The only thing I don't respect Haitians for is the purple, you know what I mean? Everything else is cool.
Wait, you said that you don't, what you said, the only thing you don't respect them for is what?
The purple potato salad. You know what I mean? Everything else is good with the Haitians. You know what I mean? I got very loyal Haitian friends. You know, the Haitian women, they have good vaginas. You know what I mean? They make good breakfast. You know what I mean? So I'm cool with the Haitians.
Yeah, I love me a Haitian woman. I ain't gonna hold you, man. So there's a lot of people that been waiting to hear you speak, my nigga. And shit, I ain't gonna lie. I motherfucking hung up the phone on you twice by mistake in the last week, son. I just be tight. This nigga's cursing me out in text message.
Yeah, because you a stupid ass nigga. You a stupid ass nigga. That's one thing about you.
This nigga like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with your jack? If you had things to say, right, there's been a lot of speculation. Your name has come up several times in the last week on year-end wrap-ups, and Uncle Murder said something to you, said something, Joe Budden said something, Chalarmagne The God said something. If a lot of people... Oh.
Yo.
Yeah. All right.
It's good.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you about... this nigga Chalarmagne was on Brilliant Idiots, and he was saying how you was supposed to be on the Joe Budden episode on Everyday Struggle, the show with Joe Budden and academics. He said that was originally supposed to be you. Was that something that was in the plans?
Well, you know, I'm not really like, I was doing work with Complex. You know, I had started the show The Pull Up, which I had curated, and I still got more episodes to it that I didn't put out or whatever, but that was what I was doing with Complex. So I was trying to do other things, but I never really discussed doing the show exactly with Joe Budden, you know what I mean? But it was something that I would have done. You know, I was with Joe Budden prior to the day before I got locked up. I was with Joe Budden Sunday SOBs.
Right. So y'all have, you know, Joe has spoken about you several times, all positively, by the way. But he has said things like, you know, especially when Combat died, that he felt for you being in that situation when somebody that's somewhat of a mentor to you passed. So he definitely had positive things to say about you. I'm assuming that y'all really worked out y'all issues from the initial.
No, I never. You know, when people get misconstrued about disputes or disagreements, is that people start to think you have beef, and I think that's what's hurting a lot of things too. People as spectators push them to fight and push them into issues. Like, I didn't have beef with Joe Budden. Like, we had a disagreement on the show, and it was actually over after that. We always had a friendly, you know what I mean, go back and forth type relationship where we would joke with each other. So it was never no beef with me and Joe Budden. It never was like I'm going to see Joe Budden and we're going to fight type thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Besides, so I think that was the misconception of the internet, what people seen. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, there are a lot of say misconceptions about who's in your corner, who's not in your corner. Is there anybody that's reached out to you since you've been in there that like you shocked? Anybody that's, you know, shocked to be on your side, or has anybody that you thought would be down for you that has like stepped away? Do you feel that type of energy?
Nah, but you know, in jail, you know, that's just something that's natural. You know, being in jail is almost like dying. You know what I mean? To people that's in freedom, people that's in civilization, and they're just living their lives. So, you know, you just gotta honor those that do, you know what I mean, deal with you on a day-to-day basis while you're still in jail, or, you know, reach out to you and just show they love. But a lot of people show love. Like, not that many people have, like, you know what I mean, strayed away. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've been in there for a year, January 17th, and, like, I've gotten major support from people. Like, you know what I mean? Nipsey reach out to me often. I speak to Wale. Like, a lot of people, you know, hit me up. I speak to Kodak. You know what I mean? PNB Rock shows me love, throw me money. Like, you know what I mean? It's just a lot of people show me love. It's a couple people that I was shocked about, maybe, that I didn't have spoken to or stuff like that. Like Sophie Green, you know, she was one of the people that was always on my show. I would have co-hosts. Like, I haven't heard from her.
This call is from a federal prison.
Yeah, I haven't heard from her, stuff like that, but it's like, it's nothing shocking either. And I'm not like holding any malice towards them. I'm not mad at them, because I always tell people, when somebody shows you who they are, just believe it. I never was a person that holds grudges too long. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, I hate this person because they're not reaching out to me or they're not speaking to me. I don't care, because in my mind, I'm more free than most of these people. A lot of these people are in freedom. They have freedom, but they're still mentally in prison because they're not where they want to be. They're not successful. They lust success, but they can't get it. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not mad at the people that not reaching out. You know, Combat was a strong supporter of me through any ordeal I was in. I love him dearly, you know what I mean? Because he was a guy that used to hit me up just to see where my mental was at. Like, how are you doing? Like, I don't care about anything but what's going on in your brain. And this was even when I was in the street. That's why I have so much love for Combat, you know what I mean? And he really, like, guided me through the industry and told me, like, what to do and what not to do. And, like, you know what I mean? I love teachers. I love the people that teach, because I tell you how many older guys are in the neighborhoods that they don't teach. They just show you the nonsense. And, you know, when we younger, we like the nonsense. You know, when you're younger, you don't have much freedom because you're under the umbrella of your parents. So you might look up to the guy that's on the bench that has no curfew, or you can just drink freely. And there's things that you might want to do, but you can't because you're under the umbrella of your parents. So anytime I get a rabbi or a guy that teaches me, a Styles Peters teaching me health and, you know, teaching me not to say certain things and move certain ways, I always cherish those relationships, you know what I mean?
Yeah, hell yeah. There aren't that many leaders or role models out here right now. Being in there and you looking at the state of the way things are right now in the street, right? And the way things are right now in the culture. What do you think the culture needs? You were a person who really spearheaded back New York rap, real shit going on in the game. What do you see from in there that you think people need to step up and do in this culture?
I think people just need to, you know, what happens in life is that, you know, it's a boss mentality that everybody wants. And I think sometimes, You know, instead of just jumping up to try to be the boss or the leader, I think you might need to be a follower first, because sometimes you got to follow first in order to learn how to lead. Sometimes you have to be the employee first to learn how to be the boss. And there's too many people trying to jump in boss positions or leader positions, and they don't really have leader attributes, you know what I mean? So I feel that's where things fuck up, because too many people trying to be the chief, and it ain't enough Indians, you know what I mean? And I feel within the music industry, as far as the guys that's from the city, it's just more of a unity thing, because nobody has completely won. You know, until you sell 10 million records or 5 million records, you can't say that you run the city, or you can't say that, you know, because what happens is these guys drop records and they have their moment. You know what I mean? It's a moment in time where they're buzzing and the whole city loves them, and they're getting booked at clubs and they think they run things. But you got to remember, it's guys that they're in the same position that they was, you know, 15 years ago. You know what I mean? And they still nowhere. They just people that get played on the radio because the DJs have become their friends, and they always in the club. So the DJ is actually afraid not to play their records because they be with a whole bunch of dirty goons. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think unity is key. You know, if anybody showed us that, it was Khaled. He made great music with putting these good artists together and not beefing it. Then you seen how everything kind of like broke apart with that, what Khaled was doing when Drake and Meek started beefing, because it caused people to say, oh, I'm Meek's friend or I'm Drake's friend. And then a lot of that movement kind of broke apart. You know what I mean? That was going on where it was like Diddy, Ross, and Drake and Meek, and it was like a big movement, and it kind of slowed down once that beef started. So I think unity is the key.
Yo, it's crazy. And not to be messy, right? Because you could interpret this however you want. Uncle Murder just did a song called The Year in Review. You know, he does his year in wrap up. And he said people was asking him why he didn't help you that night. Now, we're not going to talk about that night because we still got to deal with the situation. But he said people asked him why he helped you that night. And he's like, yo, I ain't come with that nigga. I don't fuck with that nigga, but it's still free tax. And he mentioned it, he emphasized free tax. Like, does that bother you that he would say that? Like, I know y'all knew each other.
Well, I actually don't know what Uncle Murder's talking about. I've never had that discussion with him. You know what I mean? I was cool with Uncle Murder. You know what I mean? I was in the studio with these dudes night after night. You know what I mean? Week straight. And I think where our relationship strained at was when he allowed Game and Wack to shoot a video in pink houses in Bed-Stuy, and the guy Wack was always insinuating how his peoples got Biggie killed, and I thought it was an insult to have him, you know, shoot the video in Brooklyn. So, you know, I had called Uncle Murder and him out about it, and a couple of other guys. I felt like it was wrong to allow them to do that, and I think that's where our relationship got strained, and that's actually how me and Meek's relationship got cool, because Meek, I think they thought at the time that I didn't like the Dream Chasers. I never disliked Meek or the Dream Chasers. I was just stating my opinion, you know what I mean? And when he seen me check Uncle Murder and them for that, you know what I mean? Like, guys reached out to me because they thought I was being biased about, you know, always coming at the Dream Chasers. So when he seen me in pictures with Uncle Murder and chilling with these dudes, and then I came at them, he felt like, yo, this dude is a real dude, because he be with them, and he called them out because, you know, guys from Uncle Murder's crew was like in the club with Meek Mill like the week before, and Aces like literally dick riding him. Yeah. You know what I mean? She bucked the goddess to Money and Violence. They was literally dick riding Meek, and then the next week they was in a diss video of Game, like really dissing them, and it was like sad and unfortunate. You know what I mean? A couple of officers told me about the song. I don't really listen to the radio too much, but as you know, like over the years, Uncle Murder's an unsuccessful rapper. This is his only time to shine. The only time of relevancy that he has is when he drops these yearly wrap-ups, which he stole from a rapper, you know what I mean, Mad Skills, you know what I mean? And like, he's a good rapper, but his best songs have been stolen. He stole away from Mad Skills, and then Real Niggas Back record was Young Greatness, a rapper from QC, you know what I mean, from Quality Control that the Migos is on. So, you know what I mean, he's not really good. He's an artist that's doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, you know what I mean? He's still in the same position that a new artist would be in, you know what I mean? So he has to drop these records each year for relevancy and talk about people, you know what I mean, and disrespectful manners. It's funny, you know what I mean? I like them. I always like them. You know what I mean? I'm going to listen to the new one, you know what I mean? I'm not offended by anything he might have said, but I'm only offended by anything that might not be true, because I've never had that discussion with this guy, so I don't know what he's talking about, you know what I mean?
Speaking of music, it's two things that you just spoke on. Have you heard the 444 album from Jay-Z?
Yeah, definitely. I have it on my MP3. We got MP3s, man.
Me personally, I'm always going to be a Reasonable Doubt head, but this one actually, to me, it felt like it was a complete change, like in Hove, and one of his biggest albums. Speak on 444. What do you think about that?
444 was remarkable. I think Jay-Z has been giving us 444 for years, but he's giving it to us in increments, and now he's giving it to us on a whole entree. You know, man, there's no more appetizers. You know, back in the days, he said on a record, truthfully, I want to rhyme like common sense, but I sold 5 mil. I ain't been rhyming like common sense. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And basically, he got to the money, and now he's at a point where he has the money, so now he can rap like common sense. He can give you the game. You know, on the record, he said, "I'm giving you $1 million worth of game for not."
This call is from a federal prison.
He said, "I'm giving you $1 million worth of game for $9.99," and I think that was huge because he was really giving. It was a college course he gave on 444, just from humility of what was going on with his wife and his family. And I think a lot of guys needed to hear that album too, because we treat women so bad that are in our lives. They really sacrifice themselves for us and really love us, and we embarrass them. You know what I mean, and stuff like that. And I felt like that was just an album of growth, and he was showing self growth. You know what I mean? Absolutely. 444 is remarkable. As far as, you know, the generational wealth, that's key. You know, we really, you know, as black people, like we have the most, we're the number one consumers. We have the most Gucci, the most this, the most that, but we leave nothing to our kids but outfits and pictures. You know what I mean? Yeah, so we got to have something to pass down. You know what I mean? And that's what I think the album was great. It was educational.
One other thing, I know we probably only got a minute left, so Meek got locked up for wheeling a motorcycle, violating probation from a case that he had since he was 19. We all know the system. I know you in there with a bunch of people that's going through all of these different things. What is something that you want to say to the people out here, just on your mind about just being locked up, being in the game, being whatever? You know what I mean? Just speak on the prison system.
Well, I'm in federal custody right now, and most people have conspiracies. Well, the conspiracy is basically you could just know a guy. You could like literally live on his block, take a picture with him, and you could end up in jail with him just because they believed that you had knowledge of the crimes that was taking place that he was doing. So, you know, I always was a big advocate of not taking pictures with everybody, and, you know, all I can say is don't, because you could take a and really end up in jail for it just because you knew the guy since you was a kid and you had nothing to do with what was going on. There's a lot of kids in here that's just in jail and they haven't even made over $1,000 and they have RICO charges, and the RICO charge was like created for like John Gotti and people like that. So, you know, it's sad to see what's going on right now with the system, but, you know, we know the prison system and the justice system is racial, you know what I mean? And it's evident, you know what I mean? So you just got to stay out of the way. As far as Meek, you know, it's sad to get put away for 2 years, and a guy that's providing for his family and several others, you know what I mean? And a guy that's really out there trying to work and them doing that, you know what I mean? Yeah. Shut the fuck up, I'm on the phone.
Yo, yeah. Don't wild out. Matter of fact, you said you was in the box. What the fuck was you in the box for?
Some kid, man. You know these kids in there, yo, out here, so you know.
You had to put
God bless you unless you disrespectful, you know what I mean?
You had to just give him some parental guidance, huh? Yo. What's good, nigga?
Straight.
Took you long enough, motherfucker.
I tried to call you twice yesterday.
And what happened?
Hello?
Yeah, what happened?
Nothing. The first time the shit picked right up, it picked right up, and I held on for the recording to play twice. Then the second time, it rung once and went to voicemail. Oh,
the shit I ain't see that shit. I ain't hear that shit. Let's get back into the shit. We ain't got much time. So you said you was in the box. Like, how long was you in there? How long was you in the box for?
I don't know, like 38 days, 40 days, something like that.
What was that like? Like, you was in there, you out here, you living the life, you next thing you know, like, you in a, like, what is the box like? It's a cell with a bed in it?
What'd you say?
I said, what's the box like? It's just like a cell with a bed in it? Like,
yeah, it's just, you know, you double bunked in the cell, you got a bunky and then you know you can't use the phone. You can use the phone once a month. You get reading material, so you know I was good because that's all I do is read.
Right.
Still get visits every week, so I was good.
Oh, all right. Listen, I want to ask you a question. I don't know if you were aware of it, but you know when you were first arrested last year, I know you had that problem with Whack 100, and he made a post basically saying, "Yo, free Tax, let's keep this shit in the street." You know, I don't want to see no niggas locked up. Like, how you feel about that?
I don't feel nothing about that. I don't have any opinion on it. I don't have an opinion on people like that. What I've learned is that, you know, I'm definitely a critic of the game and the culture and stuff like that. And, you know, I ruffle some feathers when I tell the truth, you know what I mean? So sometimes it's just best that I keep certain truths to myself, you know what I mean? Because some people don't deal with reality so much, and they deal with fantasy and facades that they're willing to really like fight and kill and like, you know, and battle and go to war over lies to try to keep up facades and whatever perceptions that they want to portray for the public. So, you know, what I've learned sitting here is that, you know, sharing truths all the time might not be the most healthy decision to do.
Sharing truths? What you mean by that?
Sharing truths, you know, most people live lies and they deal with the perception. It's almost like, you know, like with the culture right now with the females that's on Instagram, you might see a girl, it's like, you know, she has a whole bunch of, you know, great looking photos or whatever, but what you got to remember is that they take 100 pictures and they pick the best one out. So when a guy sees them, they're like, oh, she doesn't really look like a picture, but maybe she just caught a good angle and she picked the best picture out of 100. And that's what a lot of people do on the internet. They pick the best picture they could portray, and that's the one that you see. You never get to see, you never get to see them when they wake up with coal in their eyes, or they might be ashy, or they skip the shower that day. They look the best they can, and that's the picture that people want to put out. So when you tell people like, hey, well, this person actually might wake up and look a little bit different, you know what I mean? They don't like that. They want to fight the truth, which, you know what I mean? Because they want you to always see the mask. They don't want you to see what's underneath the mask.
No, that's totally true, my nigga. Like, you see somebody they post and they be in San Juan or some shit, you don't even know that they kids is in ACS or that they running from this or that, or they ain't got no money. Like, they take one picture.
Yeah. It's almost like the fathers who post a picture one time a year with their kids, maybe on Father's Day or birthday, but meanwhile they literally ducking their kids for the rest of the year. They want to put out the perception that they're in their kid's life when they might not be a father. Like, you know, it's a lot of people out there that have kids and they portray that they're good fathers, but they're not necessarily in their kids' lives. They're in their kids' lives just as much as the court mandates them to be in their kids' lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yo, I wanted to ask you, did you know, I know you know BK Tidal Wave, she went on like a rant, my nigga, after you let off. She was tripping after you got, arrested. You know what that's about? Like, why she went crazy like that?
Well, she trips a lot. You know, she's not the most sane person. You know what I mean? I still got love for her. You know what I mean? She's on a lot of psych medication. You know what I mean? I've done nothing but help her. I've always given her a platform. One time, you know what I mean, I was trying to cultivate another podcast for her to have her own, but you know what I mean, due to her mental unstableness, you know what I mean, it was hard to deal with her. You know what I mean? Like, she showed up one day to the studio with a pimp. That was her pimp, and like just weird shit. So it was like, you know, I realized that we couldn't turn her. You know what I mean? We couldn't do anything with her as far as business goes or whatever. But you know, people change up when you go to jail. You know what I mean? It's nothing new. Anytime you disappear, things happen. You know what I mean? Because people feel free to say certain things they might not say in your presence, or you know what I mean? They feel liberated to speak on certain things that they might not spoke on. You know what I mean? And that's just how it goes. You know what I mean? You just got to accept life for what it is. I deal with truths and reality. I don't really deal with fantasy, and that's what most people deal with. You know what I mean?
This call is from a federal prison.
I'm not mad at her, nothing like that. I don't have any malice in my heart towards her.
Yeah. Speaking about truth and reality, I wanted to clear something up, or at least get your thoughts on what's being said. You know, you did at least one, or you did a few interviews with Vlad, before you were locked up. You did a few interviews with Vlad, and they're basically saying that the police have been using. They're basically saying that Vlad is a snitch. Like the internet is saying, "Oh, Vlad is a snitch. Don't fuck with him." This, that, and the other. They're saying that he's working with the police.
Vlad is a civilian. Vlad is a civilian. So I don't understand how people could come to the conclusion that Vlad is a snitch. To my understanding of street codes or whatever the things that people go by, a snitch is a person that portrays a certain lifestyle against the lifestyle or makes a vow to live that lifestyle or principles, and then they go against that code. As far as I know, Vlad has always been a civilian, so I don't understand how Vlad could be a snitch.
All right. Well, is he? I don't want to go too much into something, so please, don't go too far because I asked you a stupid ass question. I don't want the shit to be used against you. But is he cooperating as far as you know? Do you know that?
Is who cooperating?
Vlad, with the case against you. They're saying that basically the police are using him against you. I don't know if that's true.
Do not listen to everything that the internet says. You understand? The internet is the internet. What it is now is that you have a freeway of free reporters, people that have not been trained to report, people that are not trained journalists, and they just speak on things that they have no idea about. They come up with conclusions and incorrect hypotheses on things, and they just say things. Vlad has nothing to do with anything. You understand what I'm saying? As far as I know, with my situation or anybody else's situation. You know what I mean? That's just people talking. It's poppycock. You know what I mean? The internet, they say anything. Like, for instance, someone called me one day and said, "Hey, they said that you were in court and you screamed that you're innocent." And I'm like, when did this happen? Because, the Daily News and the Times on my court dates, if they didn't report it, it didn't happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's just certain things. You can't believe these blogs and these people are just, they hire a couple people with phones and they just tell them to be a journalist. These people are not trained journalists. They don't even understand what it is to be one. So you can't just believe everything you read on these blogs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there was a lot of speculation with the way the case is going. But like I said, once this shit is all over and you get back out, I'm sure you'll speak on everything that's been spoken about. But I definitely want to clear that up. You know what's crazy? We spoke last week about the Uncle Murder situation, the shit that he was talking about, the wrap up for 2017. Mad Skills wound up coming up with a diss record against Uncle Murder. And fucking, the shit was crazy. The shit this nigga said in the fucking diss record. This nigga said his name should be on a funeral home. He said his government name is a funny ass name, like a square name. It should be on a funeral home and shit. This shit was hilarious, nigga.
I didn't hear it. I actually didn't hear either song. Like, I've been hearing about it and about what was said with the song he made and the song that Mad Skills made or whatever, but I actually haven't really heard either one. I don't really listen to the radio too much. I listen to Breakfast Club, you know what I mean? I listen to Charlamagne, that's his show, but I don't really indulge too far out of it, you know what I mean? People are like, you don't know who people are sometimes, and you find out when you're in here. You know what I mean? Casanova said it in one of his raps before. You know what I mean? When you're in jail, you really see who people are, and that's what I've seen with the industry with a lot of people. And people switch up. You know what I mean? Which is expected, because if you think that you're a real person, you got to know that it's only a few of you. So you can't be mad at people when they being fake, because you got to know that it's an honorable thing to be you. It's an honorable thing to be a stand-up guy. So when you see a whole bunch of people moving like lawn chairs and beach chairs and they folding so easily, it's understandable. You know what I mean? I understand.
Yeah. Well, you spoke on Charlamagne. How was y'all relationship? Like now, you still speak to him? Everything's still good with y'all? He's still on?
I speak to Charlamagne almost every day. Almost every single day. Like, the only time I didn't really get to speak to him was when I was in the box just now. But I always speak to Charlamagne. He just was in Grenada. He was out there in Grenada with his family or whatever. He's back now. But yeah, Charlamagne is a good friend. He's a loyalist.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because he was on his live one day on Instagram. He was talking about I haven't spoken to him in a minute, whatever. So yeah, it's good to know that y'all still on the up and up and shit. Yo, did you hear about Mace Mace came up with a song and was like, he like dropped your name in the song against Cam. He was like dissing Cam and shit in the song. Did you hear about that shit?
Yeah, I heard it actually. I heard the song when I was in the box. Yeah, I heard the song. It's a good record. You know, Mace can rap. Mace can rap. I think it's healthy. You know what I mean? I think it's healthy for battles and stuff.
This call is from a federal prison.
It's hip hop nature. Cam been throwing shots at him for years, so he finally came back and said something. You know what I mean?
Did you hear Cam's song Back to Mace?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I recently heard it. It was, I don't know. No opinion on it. It was lackluster. Because, I'm a Cameron fan as far as his rapping skills, and I didn't really think he did his best on that. Maybe he rushed it to try to come back with a quick response, and I think sometimes that might be people downfall, or they let the spectators push them. Like, I think, people like, oh, he came back in 24 hours or however long it takes. And people like, I don't think you got to come back in 24 hours. Like, if you come back in a month and it's great, it's great. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how long it takes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think maybe he might have came back too fast. Maybe he rushed it because I don't know. I didn't really dig it.
Yeah, they said he was on tour. He just went on like some to some random studio or some shit like that. Matter of fact, speaking of battles, I know you've been in the whole year, so you heard like the Nicki and Remy beef. Remember the Nicki and Remy both? What did you think about that? Because Nicki dropped a song. I wasn't really, I thought it was cool, but it wasn't like what Remy did. What did you think about that?
Remy's a battle rapper. So you expect that from her. Nicki is a person who came out with hits from the very beginning, So the thing is that what we have to see now, even though Remy, to me, won the battle with Sheetha or whatever, but can she win the battle with the songs? Because this is what Nicki does. Nicki makes hit songs. Can she make hit songs? You know what I mean? And that's the battle that, counts in the industry. The numbers count. So that's what it's, really about right now. Yeah, you maybe can out-rap her, but you will probably out-rap a lot of people. It's a lot of rappers out there that's in the street that can out-rap a lot of people. It's a lot of ball players that can out-ball a lot of NBA players, but can you play in the league? You know what I mean? And that's what it is. Nicki is playing in the league. So, that's the difference. You understand?
Yeah, absolutely. Now you got Cardi B thrown in there. You got Nicki, Remy joined up with Lil Kim. Cardi B is a new age rapper, and you got Nicki. What do you think of Cardi B jumping in the game with all of these female rappers?
I think it's great. I'm always a big supporter of Cardi B. I think Cardi B might be the biggest threat to the crown, actually. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily Remy, you know what I mean? And I think Nicki could really, Nicki could play that boss move and just have an all-female tour, squash it with Remy and just do it for the ladies, and have a Nicki, Remy, and Cardi B tour. You know what I mean? That would be huge for the game. You know what I mean? Because nobody's getting nothing out of the beefing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't see that happening. Nicki hasn't never shown that that's the type of person she is. But, yo, we got 20 seconds left. We got 30 seconds left. I guess you're going to call one more time. But if you got anything that you want to say to people right now, let it be known.
I don't want to say nothing to the people. Just God bless, continue to quest, and just work stronger. I'm good mentally, physically, you know what I mean, everything, you know what I mean? So nobody really has to worry about me. I'm a free man in my mind, you know what I mean, and I will be free. So I'm not really worried about much.